Hi everyone, it's Kute here. Today I want to talk about the power of saying no. There's so much talk in our world today about the power of saying yes. You got to say yes, you have to say yes, be nice, say yes, be sweet, and it's great. But there is a power in saying no. Sometimes you have to say no to others so that you can actually say yes to yourself. Sometimes you have to say no to the world so you can say yes to your own soul, the call of your own soul. It's when you say no to yourself. It's when you say no to your knowing. It's when you say no to your deep inner wisdom. It's when you say no to your own true inner heart and soul's intuition that we often create suffering in our lives, that we disconnect from what we truly feel, we disconnect from the intelligence that's inside. There are so many times when we knew something, there are so many times when you might have felt something, there are so many times where you may have felt something doesn't quite feel right. There were so many times where perhaps someone made a request of you, wanted you to be something, do something, say something, go along with something, and you said yes because you wanted to be liked, because you wanted to be nice, because you didn't want to let anyone down, because they were your parents, because they gave stuff to you. So you said yes when deep down in your heart, everything inside you was saying no. And maybe you had guilt, maybe you had shame, maybe you had fear. But what I found is whenever you say yes when your heart says no, that's the moment of suicide, where you are committing soul suicide, you are committing suicide within yourself. That's the moment where you cheat on yourself and you betray yourself, where you are not being faithful within your own self, in your relationship with yourself and your own heart's integrity. That is a dangerous moment. You can have the world, you can have validation from the world, fame, fortune, the whole world can love you, but if you're not loving yourself and if you don't have yourself, then you really have nothing. When you say yes and betray yourself, you really in that moment are setting yourself up to be betrayed, which only leads down a path of betrayal, which only leads down a path of often unhappiness and depression. Whenever I've worked with clients or speak to friends or individuals and they talk about, Kute, I'm so unhappy, I'm not really feeling fulfilled, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling anxiety, I found it's often because somewhere deep down they are living a life, they are making choices that is going against the deep wisdom and integrity of their own souls. And everything inside of them, the anxiety, the fears, the craziness is erupting. It's like their souls are telling them something is not right. You're going against your innate knowings. You're going against who you really are. You're selling yourself out. And so often we feel this incongruency. Have you ever felt that, where you feel an incongruency inside of yourself, where something doesn't feel in alignment, and because you're afraid of what will happen if you truly listen and say yes to yourself, what will happen if you truly listen and make the bold, courageous decision of following your own drum beat, your own soul beat, your own heartbeat, because you might be afraid. So often what I've seen people do is we distract ourselves, we get busy, we run around, we distract ourselves in relationships, we do all sorts of things so that we don't have to really sit with the still knowing of the yes that's in our hearts. You can say yes to everyone else, but when you say no to your own self, that's the moment where you abandon yourself. That's the moment where you are most alone, because in that moment you don't have yourself, and deep down on some level, no matter what excuses or justifications or reasons you might make, there's a part of your own being, a part of your own heart, a part of your own soul that knows it inside. Listen to your soul. Listen to the yes in your own heart. Where are you making choices right now where you're saying yes, where you mean no? Where are you making choices right now that are out of alignment for your own unique expression? It's when you say yes to yourself It's in that moment that you reconnect to your own power. You take your power back from the world and reconnect to your own center. It's in that moment that you develop an inner foundation. The energy rises, your power rises. You actually in that moment have yourself. And before you can truly give yourself to another, before you can truly give your gifts to the world and to another and in a relationship and those around you, you must first say yes to yourself. You must first have yourself so that you have yourself to be able to give yourself, because if you give yourself and you don't have yourself, you have nothing. But when you have yourself and you give yourself, then you still have yourself to give even more of yourself, then ultimately you have everything. And there's a part of us that often knows that when you say yes to everyone, and you say no to yourself, that even if they love you, even if they validate you, even if they give you the love, we know deep down that it's not love. We're being loved because we're being who we think we need to be in order to be loved, and we're not really being ourselves, so that the person that our friends and the family are loving, we know deep down that it's not truly who we are. I often say, if you want to find out who your friends really are, if you want to find out and get real who really loves you, the quickest way is not to ask questions. The quickest way is not to take a poll. The quickest way is simply to start being yourself. So my friends, I invite you to be your best friend. I invite you to marry yourself. I invite you to honor yourself, because it doesn't truly honor another person when you say yes to them when you mean no, because what you're giving them is not an authentic part of yourself either. So I invite you to honor yourself, to love yourself, to commit to yourself, because that is the foundation of every relationship. Really stems out of that commitment to yourself. When you say yes to yourself, you say yes to your heart, you say yes to your soul, then the whole universe begins to open up, and then you can actually create a life. To create a life and make decisions and create a life that's based on the foundation of authenticity rather than the illusionary foundation of lies. Whenever you're about to make a decision and maybe say yes to someone else, really center yourself in yourself, take a step back, breathe deep, reconnect, connect to this moment, be present in this moment, feel your heart, feel your deepest truth, and ask yourself, is the decision that I'm about to make, is it truly true for me? Is it in alignment for me? Or am I just doing this to please? Am I just doing this not to disappoint? Am I just doing this for some other reason? Is this an authentic decision? Ask yourself, in making this decision, am I compromising who I am? Am I compromising my essential, my essence? Whenever you compromise, it's fine to compromise certain things in friendships and relationships, but when you compromise your essence, your true nature, when you compromise your true essence, your true nature, that is the beginning of the end. That is the moment that a part of you dies. That is the beginning where a part of you begins to die in that moment, and nothing is worth compromising your essence. So ask yourself, in saying yes to this person, in saying yes to this request, and saying no to myself, am I compromising my true essence? Because if you don't have yourself, if you don't have your true essence, you have nothing in that moment anyway. And in making that decision to make someone else happy, saying yes to someone else, and you say no to yourself, you cannot be happy making decisions that way. So ask yourself, where do I need to start saying no? In what situations do I need to start saying no? When do I need to start saying no? Why am I saying yes? It takes courage to truly say no. But the courage in saying no will come back to you with so many rewards. The courage in saying no will come back to you with so many rewards. It's when you say yes to yourself that those around you begin to say yes to you, that you actually start attracting situations and circumstances and people in your life around you that also see and get who you really are, because you are revealing who you really are, and those around you can also say an authentic yes to you also. So dare to say no so that you can say yes to who you really are and your authentic truth. Are you ready to say yes to yourself? I love you. Love now.